Hey yo, what is up, AO Sports? Today we're going to talk about the MVP candidates and who do I think is going to win the MVP. So let's get into this video. So this is the list of the MVP candidates. We got number 1, Nikola, Joel Embiid, Giannis Antetokounmpo, James Harden, Damian Lillard, LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard, Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, Rudy Gobert. So I'm going to give a case and I'm going to say if they should win it or if they should not for each one. So for Rudy Gobert, I think he should win Defensive Player of the Year, or he should be a candidate Defensive Player of the Year. I think he should be in that category, but MVP not. He's not really leading his team. It's more of a Donovan Mitchell, Mike Conley combination. So I think he's out of the list. Kyrie Irving, he's done great. He's averaging I think it's 29 points. He's doing great. But he is not the one leading the team, and he's basically been out for the majority of the season. Luka Doncic was kind of inconsistent in the beginning, and his team is not even in the top 3. And most of the time, in order for a player to win MVP, his team needs to be at least in the top 3 contenders. And they're right now, I think they're like in the 8th seed or somewhat like that. So I don't think he's going to win it, even though he's averaging 29 points per game. Kawhi Leonard is basically on the same rack as Luka Doncic. They're not a top 3 team, but they are great. And Kawhi is doing a phenomenal job. But I don't think he's played enough games, and I don't think that he really deserves to be an MVP caliber player as of yet. Next, we got LeBron James. He's averaging 25 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. So he's doing actually phenomenally well. But he got that injury, and I think that is what will harm him from getting an MVP this season. So that's out of the list. Now we go to the top 5 MVP candidates. Starting off with Damian Lillard. Let me just say this about Damian Lillard himself. Dame time. The guy. The man that I trust in all clutch situations to win me the game. If I'm down by 2, if I'm down by 1, if I'm down by 3, it does not matter. I give the ball to Damian Lillard all time. Because this guy has just come out clutch in the playoffs, regular season, you name it, he's been there. But another thing about Damian Lillard is that I believe Damian Lillard is the most underrated player of all time. I think that, maybe I exaggerate a little bit about the clutchest player of all time. I'll probably put Michael Jordan or Kobe there, maybe LeBron. But I think he's still there. He's still in the list of the clutchest players all time. But otherwise, I think that he's the most underrated player all time for sure. There's no doubt in my mind about it. Damian Lillard has carried the Trailblazers for as long as I could possibly remember to the playoffs, carried them through the regular season, carried them through basically every type of horizon. He's done it all for the Trailblazers. The reason why I say so underrated is because he's done all of that and he hasn't got the recognition that he deserves. Reason why? Because he's in a small market. Reason why? Well, because he hasn't won a championship. He hasn't won an MVP. I think this season, just for the reason that Joel Embiid is injured, just the reason that LeBron James is injured, just the reason that those players are not, they were doing great, but now they're injured. I believe Damian Lillard should win the MVP, period. I think that he should win it in absolute. Because what he has been able to do with the Trailblazers, without CJ McCollum, without Nurkic, he was carrying this team. He was carrying this load. And it's not that he's just been doing it this season. Damian Lillard has been doing it forever. He's always been carrying the Trailblazers. This is the thing. And that's why I believe that Damian Lillard is the most underrated player of all time. I truly, truly believe that. He just started getting recognized maybe like in the 2 years ago when he started shooting logo range type threes. That's like when everybody started really watching the Trailblazers. Like, oh, this guy exists. But everybody was thinking LeBron James, Stephen Curry, Kevin Durant, all these players. But you're forgetting about Damian Lillard. This guy has been clutch. This guy has done everything for the Trailblazers. But we're forgetting him just because he doesn't have an MVP, doesn't have a championship. Next up, we got James Harden. I think he is right there with Damian Lillard when it comes to winning the MVP this season. He is averaging 30 points, and basically he's putting up like 15 assists per night so far right now. And this is without Kyrie Irving or Kevin Durant because they've been inconsistent in and out of the lineup. I think they're just resting those two players basically for playoff time because they're injury prone. Well, mostly Kyrie. Kevin Durant is not, but basically for the past 2 years he has been. Basically, they just want, I think, or I believe this is what the Nets are doing, they're letting them rest for because they want to win a championship. Like, that's their main goal. And Harden is not injury prone, really, so, and they need to win some games anyway, so they might as well keep Harden. And he's been doing just that for the Brooklyn Nets. Plus, they have a higher seed, more than the Trailblazers. He plays in the East. So most likely he will win MVP for those reasons. Next up, we got Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis has already 2 MVPs. He's won Defensive Player of the Year and an MVP in the same season, aka last year. That hasn't been done, I believe, ever since Michael Jordan. In one season. But the thing is, I don't think he's gonna win it again. Maybe not this season. He might win it in the near future again. But this season, I do not believe. Just for the reason that the Philadelphia 76ers are at the number 1 seed, and Brooklyn Nets, James Harden is there, so on and so forth. But Giannis is still putting up phenomenal numbers. He's still basically making Milwaukee look better than they really are, and so on and so forth. Next up is Joel Embiid. Great player, phenomenal player, but injury once again stops him from completing the MVP race or for completing his season generally. I think that was really an unnecessary dunk that he tried to pull off. I think that he should have just gone for a layup, or if he was gonna dunk it, hold on and not try to go all the way down or some sort. I think that he should just take care more of himself, mostly because they're already a number 1 seed, and they were doing pretty well. So he didn't have to, go crazy. But it happened, so now we can't change anything about that. But just for the reason that he got that injury, I think we should just cross him out of this list. So I can think he's out of there. Nikola Jokic. I don't. He's properly rated. He's not overrated and he's not underrated. He's exactly where he's supposed to be. But I just think that MVP is too far. I think because he is a phenomenal passer. He can score you the ball. He's an all-around player. Lacks on defense though. He lacks on defense. He is the number 1 option for the Nuggets, and the Nuggets are up there in seedings. So he is doing great job, I believe. So just for that reason, I think is why he's in the MVP candidate conversation. That's why I think he's number 1 right now. But what I believe the top 3 MVP candidates are basically number 1. Okay, this is where I think this is how I think it should be, and then I'm gonna tell you what it really truly is. I think it should be number 1 Damian Lillard, number 2 James Harden, number 3 Nikola. The way that it really is Nikola, James Harden basically tied at number 1 right there, both of them, and then Damian Lillard, and then Giannis, and Giannis and Damian Lillard right there, but Giannis beats him by maybe 0.3, let's say. But I think that number one should be Damian Lillard, just for what he's been able to do this season, averaging already 30 points. But since his team is not in a high market value, and they're not one of the best teams in the league, Damian Lillard is out of this conversation. I understand and I get that. But we can still not take away the power, the abilities, generally of Damian Lillard. I just really want to get that clear that this guy is truly underrated. Otherwise, I think that Nikola, I just don't want people in the comments saying that I'm a hater of Nikola Jokic, because I'm really not. I really love his style of play for a center. I think it's phenomenal. That's why I said I think he's properly rated, but I just think that MVP as of now is just too far because there's players like James Harden that is truly carrying a team right now without two big stars, even though they still got Blake Griffin. But we all know Blake Griffin is washed up, and so is DeAndre Jordan. So he's basically carrying them as into the playoffs as of now. And Damian Lillard's doing the same thing. While Nikola has Jamal Murray, he has Paul Millsap as in a guide. He just has a phenomenal team around him generally. But otherwise, the way that it really is in the NBA and how it will really be, I think that this season will win the MVP. James Harden will win it, is what I believe. If he keeps up this production and he does not get injured, which I don't think he will, Nicola's going to be right there. I think Nicola's going to win it, though, in the near future, maybe in 2 years, maybe next year. I think he will win it. But as of now, I think that this season James Harden shall win this MVP. But let's not forget to let me know what you guys think. Who will win MVP this season? Let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, guys, love sports.
You wake me up in the middle of the night in the summer times, making me run up a hill, making me do push-ups, screaming at me from the sideline of my games at 8 or 9 years old. We wasn't supposed to be here. You made us believe. You kept us off the street, put clothes on our backs, food on the table. When you didn't eat, you made sure we ate. You went to sleep hungry. You sacrificed for us. You the real MVP.